What's up everyone, and thanks for tuning in again. In my last video I announced that we would be taking a closer look into how I created the Yoon video, and that's exactly what we're going to be doing today. And this will be the first in a several part series where I explain everything from how I set up the project, how I chose and download the music, how I downloaded vlogs, and then pieced it all together and created the final video. And everything that I'm going to explain now, I will explain it assuming that you already have some sort of a knowledge and experience how video editing actually works. If you have never done any video editing before, this might overwhelm you a bit. The first time that I saw how it actually works to create a video like this, I freaked a little bit out. But no worries, I got you covered on my channel. I created a little playlist. If you want to learn how video editing in Premiere Pro works out, check that playlist of other tutorials that I used when I taught myself editing. The playlist will be linked somewhere below, so make sure that you check that one out. But now let's start, because this was a pretty huge project and there's a lot of things we have to cover.
I guess it's time for the daily good morning.
Okay, so the first thing that we will do is we will take a look into my final video file, because that's what most of you requested. So what you see here now is the entire edit, all the clips, music and pieces that I chose down here in the timeline. And on the left here, what you see is my project bin. Everything that I used in the video you can see on the left side here. This includes all the music that I used, which is in this folder, all the footage that I had, this was from the first video, footage that I had left over, and all the footage that I downloaded for the second video. Here I also have a bin where I had all the After Effects files, so for the ones that I created some small effects that's gathered here, and then any other things that I used. For example, I had to do some color correction, and then I also used some sound effects down here. But that one we will cover later. And down here is the most important section where are all your sequences. The sequence that you see right here, this is my master sequence, this is how I always do it. And as you can see, everything that I have here on the left side is halfway decently organized, and that's how I always set up my projects. So it usually looks somewhat like footage, assets, music, and sequence. It is crucial that you have a well-organized structure, because in such a case where the project is really huge, it's very important that you have a good structure. Because otherwise it can easily happen that you lose the overview and then you totally freak out, want to smash the keyboard into the computer and delete the entire file. That's what I thought of doing when I edited the first video. Also, if you're wondering why my entire workspace looks a little bit different than the standard ones, this is just due to the fact that I customized my workspaces and especially my keyboard shortcuts. That is, in my experience, one of the secrets to fast and quick editing, to fix your keyboard shortcuts. If that's something that you're interested in, I'm gonna cover that in a later tutorial. This was one of the main factors as to how I managed to make the second video in just half the time compared to the first one. And another very important thing to know is about performance and capabilities of your computer. I personally have found that my computer is editing way faster if I put all the footage and the video files not on the actual hard drive of my computer, but on an external hard drive. And that's exactly what I also did in this project. When I downloaded all the files, I put them on an external hard drive and stored them there, not on the hard drive of the computer where the project and everything else lies. And when it comes to editing speed, the next thing for me personally will be an upgrade from a normal hard drive that I'm using in my computer up to an SSD. That will be the most important thing to speed up the performance of your computer when dealing with video editing. So as we already covered, we have this organized folder structure on the left side in the project file, but I also have an organization that I always use in my actual files on the computer. What I always do is I create these three folders. One is for input and everything from music, sound effects. Here you can see all the music that I've been using. Those come in here. That can also contain sound effects, any kind of graphics that I've been using or similar. Then I have here the creation folder where my actual video file goes, and also the After Effects files if I'm doing any kind of special effects. Pro tip, one of the most important things is to make sure that you never lose anything of the stuff that you've been doing. And for this, in Premiere Pro you can set an auto-saving interval and make sure that it's like at 5 or 10 minutes, because what happened to me during this edit was at once I deleted like an entire 1.5 minute clip, and I was only able to recover it from one of the autosave files in this folder. And then to create a folder structure like this is pretty simple. You just go down here and create a new bin and call it assets, and then I have a keyboard shortcut. I just look here, keyboard shortcut, call one footage, and so on. As soon as you set up all this, then for me it actually gets time to start the video and not before. And the first thing that I do then, before I do any kind of looking at the footage or similar, I choose the music. And that's what we're gonna do now. In this case, I got the music from a SoundCloud playlist. For all the music that Jon's been using, he either gets it from Epidemic Sounds or from SoundCloud. You always see here in the description, he puts where they get the music from. Here, this is usually a link to Epidemic Sounds, which is this site. For you as a content creator on YouTube, they have a subscription that costs like between 10 or 13 euros per month. And here you can get royalty-free music that you're actually allowed to put into your YouTube videos. And the other choice is to go on SoundCloud and look for copyright-free music there. Whenever you do a project like this, always make sure that it's music that you're actually allowed to use. And creating the first video, it took me way longer to select the music. And for the second one, I already knew how to do it. What I did back then is I just went to soundcloud.com, and if you type in there Jon Olsson, there are actually playlists that other people have created from all the music that Jon's been using in the blog. So I usually go to look for this one. And this is a playlist that has 142 tracks, thanks to... I cannot pronounce your name. Thanks though. This has the most of all the songs that Jon's been using. So if we just randomly start one here, you'll probably recognize it. Sounds very much like Jon. Want that one? Yeah, we know those tracks, right? What I basically did then was I went through this entire playlist of 142 songs, and whenever one struck to me and I thought this one's definitely gotta go in, I saved it to another playlist. And I created myself a playlist of 20 songs that I actually really liked from these ones, and then I went through them a second time and picked out those ones that I really liked. And then I basically ended up with 8 or 9 songs that I had selected. One, for example, would be this one. Which was the very one that I actually started the video with. What I did then was I downloaded all the music files and saved them in my input folder in my actual video project, and then moved them over into my actual video file, which you can see here. What I usually do then is I create a new sequence that is only about the music. I first try to figure out and piece the music together so that that one already creates like a story that fits together, and then afterwards I select the footage that fits to that. And then I took all the music files and dragged them into one timeline. And this is what you can see here. It's the first song, second song, third song, fourth, fifth, and so on. I always look out for the first song first, the one that I want to start the video with. Out of all the songs that I chose, I think this one was the best one. Right? And then what I usually do is I tend to vary them. When the first one is pretty fast, the second one shall be a rather slow one. And then I just see which ones fit together, which one I want to end with. I then had my rough order that I wanted the songs to be in, and I then shortened them down. So all the songs that I've been using here, basically they only last for like 1 minute or so that I have a lot of transitions and I can switch a little bit between stories that are shown in the video. So I started up with this one, and then moved to a slower one. Track 2. Took a rather fast one again. And then here I have an interlude from an actual other video that I created directly when Marcus left. Let me know if you want to see that one. I haven't showed that yet. And this one came next. And then this one. And I knew I wanted to end with this song, so basically I had the first one selected, I had the last one selected, and then everything else in between I pieced together. What I usually do is I choose my favorite part of the song, and then I trim it so that the entire song actually just lasts for like 1 minute or so. And that's what you can see here. So far the music together makes like 8 minutes, and that was roughly the final length of the video. What I usually also do here is I look out for sequences in the song where it could be like a part where someone says something. So for example, here's in the first part there's a transition phase here from there to there. And this would be the perfect spot now for someone to say something. And as soon as I have that selected, I can then start choosing the footage, putting it together, and then starting to create the actual video. But there was a lot of information all at once now, and I think we should take a little break. So that was it for the first part, and the second part will come where I actually show you how I download the vlogs and then started piecing them together. So make sure that you don't miss that one. If you haven't yet, I think you should subscribe and then look out for when the next video comes. Until next time.